The Americans were fed by their media to hate a simple Iranian boy,
Is there a problem here?
not knowing on that particular day
What are you looking at?
he will make a special place in their hearts with his continuous pain, will power and grit. Welcome back to Jason Recaps. I don't have many subscribers, but your single comment is a ray of hope to motivate me. Ali Yanni wasn't looking for trouble. He just wanted a shot at something better. Landing in California after leaving war-torn Iran in the 80s, he carried nothing but a tiny key his mom gave him. Her way of making sure he'd remember her no matter where life took him. But America wasn't exactly the fresh start Ali hoped for. From the minute he walked into his new school, it was clear he wasn't welcome. The Iran-Iraq War had put people on edge.
You know what?
And since the U.S. had backed Iraq, anyone from Iran was seen as the enemy. For Ali, that meant constant name-calling and being labeled a terrorist by classmates. Especially a loudmouth kid named Mike who never missed a chance to humiliate him.
You look at that sad sack of shit.
Ali's uncle Haz, who took him in, wasn't having much luck either. Locals in the neighborhood avoided him, and customers stopped showing up to his workshop just because he was Iranian. The isolation got to both of them. Trying to find his footing, Ali explored joining sports teams. He considered football, but ditched the idea once he saw Mike on the roster. Basketball didn't feel right either. But everything shifted the night he snuck into the school gym and caught sight of the wrestling team in action. Something about the way the wrestlers moved, the energy, the raw effort, lit a spark inside him. The very next day, Ali marched up to Coach Plyler and asked to join the team. But Coach wasn't on board. Principal Skinner had already told him not to let Ali on, thinking it'd cause drama.
You stay away from that. This kid is the last thing you need.
Still, Ali kept showing up, kept asking. Eventually, Plyler let him prove himself by wrestling Jimmy, one of the team's toughest guys.
No, not him. Him.
Ali had zero experience and got thrown around easily, but he didn't back down. Jimmy, surprised by Ali's grit, even admitted the kid was tough. That was enough for Plyler.
It's tough.
He gave Ali a jersey and a spot on the team. Ali rushed home, ready to celebrate, only to walk into some heavy news. Haz, dressed up in a suit, broke it to him. Money was tight, and he couldn't afford to keep him around.
You made a promise to our family. You can't just toss me out on the street.
He planned to send Ali back to Iran. Heartbroken, Ali quietly sat with his new jersey in hand. Haz walked in, saw it, and asked what it was. When Ali explained he'd joined the wrestling team, everything changed. Haz decided to support him instead of sending him away.
And you will listen to everything I say.
And dropped a surprise of his own. He used to be a champion wrestler back in the day. From that moment, Haz became Ali's second coach.
The way I told you to.
At school, Plyler taught him techniques. At home, Haz pushed him hard, handing him a traditional Persian club called a meal and making him swing it 100 times a day to build his arms. The training was brutal, but Ali never gave up. In between all the sweat and practice, Ali found himself helping a classmate, Christy, study. He had seen her get yelled at by her mom for failing a test.
I'll study harder. I know I can do better.
And offered to tutor her. At first, it was awkward.
Looks like your mother has banished me from the restaurant.
But soon, their sessions at her family's restaurant turned into a genuine friendship. Meanwhile, back at school, things were still tense. One day, while admiring the school's sports trophies, Mike knocked Ali to the floor on purpose. They ended up in a fight, and Principal Skinner gave Ali a warning. One more mess up, and he was out.
Stick your nose in the books, and you're going to get along just fine.
Still, Ali focused on wrestling. Tournament day came fast, and Ali stepped into the 126 kilograms weight class.
26-pound wrestlers.
Where's Marv? Come on, Johnny, you're up.
Haz was there, cheering from the sidelines. The match was rough. His opponent slammed him down more than once, and the crowd wasn't shy about yelling racist slurs, but has kept shouting encouragement, telling Ali to stay in the fight. Fired up by his uncle's support, Ali made a huge comeback and ended up winning the match. The gym exploded in cheers. Haz, Plyler, and even the teammates who once ignored him were all celebrating. Skinner, though, wasn't thrilled. He worried that Ali's win might upset some folks. But Coach Plyler stood his ground.
Have something to fight for.
Ali was the only one who pulled off a win that day. Ali didn't slow down after that. He doubled his effort, started mastering advanced moves, and crushed every match he was in. One day, Jimmy and the rest of the boys showed up and handed him a team jacket, a clear sign he was officially one of them now.
Ali. Thanks, Steven. Scooter.
Outside of the ring, Christie's grades improved too, thanks to all the study help. To celebrate, Ali, Christie, and a few friends snuck into someone's backyard pool for some late-night fun. They were splashing around when the owner suddenly came home. Everyone scattered, except for Ali and Christie, who were still in the pool. Lucky for them, the owner didn't spot them, and they escaped, giggling about the whole thing. Way before any of this, when Ali had first arrived and was just trying to figure things out, he saw Christie working at the restaurant, helping her mom.
Wait, I could get you an A in French.
That was his first glimpse of her outside school. The next day, Hazed lovingly packed him lunch, but Mike and his gang made fun of it, so Ali threw it away. It was one of those small moments that made him feel like he'd never fit in. But look how far he'd come, from being mocked in the lunchroom to winning matches and earning respect. And just as everything seemed to be falling into place, word began to spread about Roman, the reigning wrestling champ no one could beat. A showdown between Roman and Ali seemed inevitable. And just like that, a new chapter in Ali's journey was waiting around the corner. Ali Yani didn't come to America expecting a smooth ride, but he definitely didn't expect to become the name everyone was talking about in the school wrestling world. He kept his head down at first, quiet, observant, trying to adjust. But over time, something started changing. Wins started stacking up. People who used to ignore him started whispering his name in the halls. And one of those whispers reached the wrong ears, Roman's. Roman had been the top dog of high school wrestling for years. Untouchable, unchallenged. And now some new kid with a funny accent was getting the spotlight? That didn't sit right with him. Roman made a decision. He was going to step into Ali's weight class, 126 kilograms, and settle things on the mat. But while Roman was trimming down for the showdown, Ali was fighting battles of a different kind. Behind the scenes, he was dealing with pressure, racism, and heartbreak. One afternoon, Coach Plyler pulled him aside before a match. The crowd had been hostile, and Plyler asked Ali to stay hidden until his name was called. While waiting in the hallway, Ali overheard Christie, the girl he thought had his back, joking with her friend Wendy. When Wendy teased her about dating him, Christie denied it and added a few comments that cut deeper than any insult Mike or the other bullies had thrown at him.
I would hate to be the person that made that up because I'm going to kill them.
Ali didn't flinch. He just walked onto the mat and crushed his opponent in under a minute. Even Principal Skinner, who had never fully supported Ali, stood up in disbelief and clapped. Back in the locker room, Roman was waiting. He cornered Ali and told him the upcoming tournament wasn't going to end well. Ali stayed calm, but when he got home, he told his uncle has everything. This didn't waste time. He grabbed old wrestling footage of Roman, played it over and over until he found the weak spot, Roman's balance. You see that, he said. He overcommits. That's where we strike. Has began teaching Ali techniques and takedowns specifically designed to exploit that flaw. But Ali wasn't just nervous about Roman. As could tell something else was bothering him. So he asked him straight up, "What are you really afraid of?" Ali knew. It wasn't Roman. It was Mike. So the next day at school, Ali decided it was time. He walked right up to Mike to confront him, but Christie intercepted him first. She asked why he was acting cold. He told her the truth. He heard what she said, and it hurt. Then, without another word, he walked up to Mike, looked him in the eye, and stood his ground. The two got into a fight right there in the hallway. Principal Skinner showed up and wasn't interested in who started what. He kicked Ali off the wrestling team. That moment broke something in Ali. After all he'd been through, the training, the pain, the growth, he was back to being an outsider again. But Coach Plyler wasn't giving up on him. Later that day, he showed up at Haz's house and said something surprising. "Your nephew's the best natural wrestler I've seen in years. I want you to help coach the team." Haz said yes without blinking. The very next day, he was back in the gym, training alongside Plyler while Ali sat in the corner, watching. Then, out of nowhere, Christie approached Ali again. She apologized, not the fake kind, the real kind. She admitted she was scared of being judged, but she didn't care anymore. Right there in front of everyone, she kissed him and told him she loved him. That gave Ali the push he needed. He stormed into the principal's office and begged for another shot. Skinner was ready to say no, until Ollie pulled out a small key his mom gave him before he left Iran. He told Skinner how that key reminded him to be strong, how he's been holding on to it through every hardship, every fight, every moment of doubt. He promised to make the school proud. Skinner paused and gave him one last shot. The team headed into the tournament stronger than ever. One by one, they crushed it. Haz and Plyler's training was paying off. The boys were fired up. Even Ollie felt like things were finally falling into place. That night, they planned a team dinner to celebrate. Ollie asked Haz to come, but Haz smiled and said, "Go ahead. I'll catch up later." On his way home, Haz's car never made it. Ollie got the news the next morning. Haz, the only family he had left, was gone. There was no time to mourn. The finals were that day. Ollie showed up with a storm in his chest and fire in his veins. Every other wrestler on the team had already been knocked out. He was the school's last hope. Coach Plyler walked over and looked him in the eyes. "You're not just wrestling for yourself today," he said. "You're wrestling for Haz. Let's finish what he started." And then came the final match. Who won? Let's just say, Ollie stepped onto that mat with the weight of his past, his grief, and his dream, all crashing together in one moment. The rest? That's a story you need to see to believe.